Whoa, this is so crazy. Wow, it's sampling some weird... Is this like RTX GPUs that are thrown around? What are these circular things? Hi guys, my name is Borodante, and welcome back to the game. My horror game, still version 0.03, as goes my joke that never gets old. Now this is a quick update in my effort to try and post videos a bit more frequently. It's like a quick response to a lot of your guys' support, by the way, in terms of how to maybe make the game run faster. A lot of cool advice from you, many of which I have yet to try, but I have tried one interesting thing right here that I wanted to share with you. And it involves a very funny nature of the Nanite technology that I was talking about in the previous video. The technology that lets Unreal Engine 5 show millions and millions of polygons on screen with pretty much no difference. Like, it doesn't matter how many polygons you have on screen. So what I changed was pretty much all of the assets of the forest. Right now it all looks different because I replaced absolutely everything with my own models that I very quickly put together in Blender. They're of course not awesome or anything, it's just a test, but the point is they only have like hard geometry, a lot of it, and zero transparency masking at all. So not a single leaf is cut out using like a transparency black and white mask. And that makes a huge difference for rendering, especially in huge scales like a forest. So right now you guys can see we're running at 60 FPS, literally, and we're running full screen right now. And we have the sun turned on with all the virtual shadows on. So everything is on, and we're getting 55 to sometimes 65, 67 FPS right here. Now I am using downscaling, so if I'll go like, let's say 65%, which is what's usually called like a balanced mode of upscaling, we're getting about 52, 53 FPS. But overall, the performance is much better. Of course, still work in progress. I'm not fully satisfied with this, but the funny thing about this is that this scene right now, this forest, is so much more complex in terms of geometry. I'm barely using any fake geometry in here, only like the actual like surface of the landscape. That is like a photo texture right there. All of these things, I used to have like one big polygon asset that had like ground grass on it showing up, and it was thrown around here with the procedural forest. I replaced it with super hardcore like leaves and little sticks. All of them are completely like three-dimensional leaves, and I'm talking about completely three-dimensional leaves have like thickness. So it's like insane. It's a huge amount of polygons thrown around everywhere in here. Now the trees are also insane. They don't seem particularly texturized right now, but I did throw a full-blown color, roughness, and normal map material on them, which you can see on the branches right there. But leaves apparently have some wonky UV mapping on them. But also on the leaves on the ground, you may see there's color and roughness and normals as well. So to make sure I test things closer to reality, so to speak, I threw like some kind of colors and roughness and normals. But yeah, all of this is insane hardcore geometry, and we run around it. Like, seriously, if I would run this forest in Blender, it would probably just freeze in place because of the amount of sheer polygons that are thrown around in here. So everywhere is the same tree thrown around, and this tree was generated right here. For that, I used this plugin and curves right here. It's called Sapling Tree Generator. And it lets you do all kinds of stuff with it and everything, like generate legit trees like this with all kinds of things. It's free, it's packed into Blender, you just need to turn it on in plugins. So you have it right now if you have Blender. But yeah, you can go ahead and like create any kind of tree you want. There's a bunch of presets in here and everything. And this preset, I turned it into actual mesh and everything. This is the preset that's using flat polygons, like single polygon, absolutely flat leaves. So trees are like that, but all of my bushes in here, they are actual like thick geometry like this that I just threw together. And all these leaves and sticks on the floor are also like thick geometry. So that's how things are. And on top of that, like because the leaves of the trees are actually one-sided, just simple polygons like this, I had to use a double-sided shader on them, as well as roughness, normals, and color textures on them. So yeah, I'm also even using a double-sided shader on the trees. And this is the performance I'm getting. I don't know, it's not actually like a packaged game, because as I mentioned in the comments in the last video, I actually can't package the game, which you guys say is something I need to test. And one of the things I should test is relocating the folder of the project to like the root directory of my system and see if maybe the length of the addresses of the files impacts it, because it's apparently a thing that happens sometimes. But yeah, right now this is just the game running from the editor in this like standalone mode. So it's just running from the editor. I can't close it right now, it will close the game, but it is showing up in a separate window. So I don't know if I'm seeing the final performance or not, but like the sun is on, insane amount of geometry, and honestly I feel like at this point it really doesn't matter if there will be like 10 times more of this forest. That's the whole paradox of Nanite. So knowing that, and knowing how impactful to the performance transparency is, even if it's transparency masking, where it's just like black and white with no semi-transparent fading, it's still slower and it's taking a lot of performance hits when each pixel needs to see how much of that transparency is happening, because in a forest it's going on a lot. And I replaced all of that with just hardcore polygons, and that's it. And Nanite loves when it's just polygons. Now, granted, I'm not using a single, like not a single asset right now is using any kind of a world position offset, so nothing is like shaking in the wind. Everything is absolutely static, so that will take a certain hit to performance as well. But I just wanted to show this to you guys to demonstrate the thing, like some of you guys said in the comments. What if you like remove some of the complex trees in the depth of the forest where you never can actually go, or like remove the trees that are too far away from the paths that John can walk in, to like remove some load from the game to be able to render faster. And the point is, it doesn't matter at all. That won't matter. Like if you're not seeing through the forest into like empty space, and you're actually still seeing all the trees like filling up all the pixels on the screen, it doesn't matter if there's like 10 times more of those trees behind them. Like if it doesn't require to actually render that transparency, it won't affect anything. And if we remove transparency at all, it's actually better performance. And again, we can put as much trees as we want. And each of these like middle-sized bushes are actually, I didn't model extra bushes, they're the same big trees downscaled. So if you look closely, you'll see how insanely three-dimensional and detailed, if I'll ever be able to focus on them, but like there's insane amount of polygons. Like it looks like a CGI movie everywhere. Like everything is so insanely dense. Like this is looking crazy for real-time graphics. We're down to 47 FPS now, but that's because I'm using a flashlight, I guess. Yeah, this way is like 50, 52. So, of course, projected shadows are still impactful a lot because virtual shadows are an expensive privilege. So overall, I feel like this may work out. I'll see if the performance will be getting more hits as I keep developing more details of the world. But the point of this is that, as I said, even if there would be 10 times more forest, it wouldn't matter. So even if I add more assets or details or whatever, it also theoretically wouldn't matter all that much. And yeah, if I tone down the screen percentage to a little bit lower, we're getting literally 60 FPS right now. So this is very smooth. And yeah, my display is QHD, so it's 1440p resolution at 60 FPS. Of course, 50% and upscaled, but that's how things are with the sunlight. But yeah, the big funny thing about all of this is that if you know your advantages, like of course Nanite, Lumen, and Virtual Shadows, they give you a pretty strong hit in performance, but with Nanite you literally can replace all the transparencies with like brutal just polygons of everything. Like this doesn't look like a game at all. This is crazy, having all these 3D leaves thrown around like this. Funny how things are. And yeah, quick note before I finish this episode, this right now is what it looks like with the 100% screen percentage, 100% resolution. So all the QHD resolution rendered as it is. We're getting a bit over 30 FPS right now, which is unthinkable before with the transparencies, by the way, including sunlight. This is a huge deal. And what's hilarious is like right now, let's try, well, like 75%. We're getting under 45 FPS, and when we're getting like 50% of the screen resolution, that's like 60 FPS right now. So that's where it's all nice and smooth. And funny thing is, we can like, because this is the editor, we can do whatever we want. We can go down to 25 screen percentage, and it's starting to get very, very interesting. And yeah, the performance is now like 70 plus FPS in most cases, but like it's starting to resemble a painting a little bit. And now if we go even lower, let's try 10%. And this is now looking like one of those MPEG video glitches or something like that that are also kind of looking like a painting. So the funny thing about the way it's working is like right now I looked forward and it sampled the floor with a certain amount of these samples, right? And now if we go forward and look at the floor from a side, we'll see like stretches of these samples that were shot from that angle. But yeah, this is the 10%, and let's see if we'll go even lower. I never tried this. Let's try 5%. Okay, this is, oh my god. It's really starting to disintegrate completely. I'm just a walking forest floor now or something, I don't know. Oh my god. Man, this thing is insane. I feel like I'm breaking something by doing this. Whoa, this is so crazy. Wow, it's sampling some weird... Is this like air conditioners textures, or are these RTX GPUs that are thrown around? What are these circular things? Are those GPUs? I feel like they look like GPUs. I don't know what that is. That's weird. Okay, let's try 2%. Oh my god, there is literally no limits on how low we can go. What are these? Like test images of something. That is so weird. Why is it throwing those around? Oh my god. John, are you okay, John? Oh my god. What is that? Like, is it just trying to show some kind of detail at all? That's why it's doing it. There's like space. Whoa, these stretchings are so cool. It's like Interstellar vibes right now. Oh my god. Okay, 1%. That's literally 2 times worse than what we're seeing right now. Whoa. Are you okay? So on the edges of the screen, it's like completely barely doing anything right now. That's why like it's even worse in there. Oh my god, there's an enemy in there. I turned on flashlight right now, but I guess we won't be able to see. Wow, I'm just a walking liquefy blob right now. That is insane. Oh my god, so yeah, that's kind of like the nature of this temporal super resolution. Like, it's still not even 100 FPS when it's looking like this. Oh my god, I'm just wearing texture of John right now from several seconds ago. That is so insane. So yeah, it's like under 90 FPS. So there is literally a pretty hard cap, and it's like it doesn't matter what's going on. If all these nanites, lumens, and virtual shadows are on, just when they're on, there's a certain cap to the frame rate. Of course, it's influenced by the performance and thermal limits of your hardware. I did definitely see some people showing 120 FPS on simple projects in Unreal Engine 5, but I've never seen 120 FPS, no matter how simple a project would be. I will definitely keep exploring how to optimize things even more. Some of you guys said that the performance will be improved if we limit the distance where bushes are flowing from the wind, like actually moving around. And actually, in the last episode, I was using that. I turned that on at a certain distance. All the bushes stop floating in the wind, so there's a simpler shader complexity at the distance and everything. But yeah, right now we're having everything static, so of course this is even simpler. But yeah, overall, at least kind of happy, even though with kind of a glitchy sampling, but with the sunlight and like at full screen, seeing 60 FPS right now, this is at least something. So to me, it's a good progress already, because before that things were completely terrible. Like a lot of the times it would be a lot lower than 30 FPS, which was no good at all. So yeah, let me know what you guys think, if you have any more advice specifically for like Unreal Engine 5, because the rules of the game in here are very different. Please let me know, because this is like super interesting. I wasn't expecting myself to get actually very into optimizing the game. Like, I'm actually passionate about it right now. I thought I would just not want to have anything to do with it. Some of you guys recommended baking all the lighting. I kind of tried that. I got a bunch of glitches and everything, and I could experiment more with it, but the thing is, if you're baking lighting, it pretty much means you turn off lumen at all. And I want lumen to show up on John and on enemies, so that's the portion of the lighting that you can't bake. Seems like Nanite, Lumen, Virtual Shadows is this trio that if you're using Unreal Engine 5, this is what you're using. It's just about how to make things run fast with these guys turned on. Like, if I turn off Virtual Shadows, I will have to turn off Nanite, and then I would have to bring transparencies back on, and then it will lag more because it's a forest. Like, it's all connected together. If you use everything together, that's how things actually can work out, because this is how it's designed to be used. So we'll see about that. Anyway, these are my thoughts for now. Let me know what you guys think, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye! I wonder if there is at all a way to rely on this kind of looks for the game. Like, say John will have some kind of trippy experiences, or when you have like 1% of health left. Is this a cool way to have it, like you're just tripping from pain and blood loss, you know, everything's looking like RTX GPUs? That would be insane. And then a new update to Unreal Engine comes out and everything will be super clean and won't work anyway. That's why you can't rely on this kind of stuff. And that's a shame.